Hey everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. And this is our BTCC Tribute Races, or BTCC Replica, whatever way you want to look at it. I don't mind. I'm calling it the Replica. We're on round 5 already, and what a fantastic season it's been so far. Let me just go through the league table. I'm going to do that before I do anything, because otherwise I will forget, as I usually do. But I have got it in front of me. I'm a bit more prepared this week. I have got the table in front of me. I'm just going to do the top 5. I'm not going to go all the way down it. So out on top at the minute is Grasshopper on 180 points. Thomas just behind him, only just behind him as well, on 177 points. Wayne G, not that far behind, on 165 points. He's sitting in third. Fourth in the league table is Dan, a latecomer to the races, really, but proving himself to be a proper handful. He's fourth on 120 points. And just 2 points behind him on 118 is Brian Moncani, sitting fifth in the table. So that's the league table as it stands going into this round 5. And as you can see, we are in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. And now then, this is the short circuit, not the long one. It's only 1.4 miles. There's only 6 turns on it, but a tricky course nevertheless. So let's have a look. I thought we'd do a bit of a grid walk this time around. So let's have a look and see who is on pole. Well, but before we do that, I'm just going to mention we do have 3 races for you today, 3 20-minute races. Now then, there was a right mix-up with the tyres last week or the week before, I can't remember. Now, I think they are given 2 sets of softs and a set of medium to use throughout the 3 races. Now, I believe that the tyre rule was changed last week because of the tyre wear. I could be wrong again. I don't know. So we shall see. We shall find out together, won't we, as we watch this race. We shall see what it is. But I believe it is 2 sets of softs and a set of mediums, unless the wet stuff falls. We haven't had a wet race yet, have we? That would be really interesting, and I do know it does like to rain at the Red Bull Ring. So who knows? Let's keep our fingers crossed for a bit of wet stuff this time around, shall we? Anyway, let's get on with it and get down the grid, shall we, and see who is where. And as you can see, Grasshopper has put himself on pole position. This is the 6th time he's been on pole position, and 4 wins so far for Grasshopper. I've been on the podium multiple times as well. So just keep your eye on him shooting it off and creating a big lead. Just behind him in second is Thomas. Thomas, he's been a regular on the podium as well. I can't remember how many wins he's had, but Thomas is always there and thereabouts, isn't he? So that's Thomas in the focus. Third on the grid is the... well, I'm calling him the newcomer. He's actually took part in quite a few races, actually, but it's Dan. And Dan, 3 podiums last week, and one of them was on the very top step. So well done to Dan. Brilliant race last week. Let's hope he can keep it up this time around. Fourth on the grid is Wayne G, also in the Ford Focus. Another regular on the podium. So all the top 4 on the grid are all regular podium goers, shall we say. 5th on the grid is Hodgie in the Renault. Hodgie, well, he can have a mixed race, can't he? It's either brilliant or not brilliant. It's he's a good racer, is Hodgie. Very difficult to pass. And when he's on it, he is a proper handful. So 5th on the grid here at Red Bull. So hopefully this is his track, and he can get himself up there on the podium where he belongs. In 6th is Chris. Now, Chris, behind the scenes, put a lot of work into getting this BTCC up and running. So thank you very much to him for all his effort that he puts in, as I say, behind the scenes with testing and trying to sort the cars out, etc. And he's using the Crown Athlete, as I now understand. So that's Chris. He's 6th on the grid. Then we've got Phaser. Phaser in 7th. Phaser, well, he's had a bit of a season, hasn't he? Highest finish so far is 4th, which he got in round 1, but after that he's had a steady flow of 11s, 11th place finishes and 15th, and he's had a run of real bad luck. He had some problems with his pedal set, and well, yeah, disconnects, all sorts of things. So fingers crossed for Fazer that all that is now sorted and he can get back to doing what he's good at, which is racing, and he is improving all the time. So yeah, we'll get this season out of the way, shall we, Fazer, and then we'll come back fighting fit next time around. Just behind Fazer is Unforgiven. Unforgiven sitting 8th in the grid in the Alpha. Again, a bit of a mixed season for Unforgiven. He's either on it or he's not. A bit like Hodgie, really. It's either brilliant or not. But let's see how Unforgiven gets on. He's 8th on the grid. 9th on the grid in the AMG, the little Merc there, is Hawkeye. Way down here in 9th. Usually finishes around about mid-table, something like that, but a tough competitor nevertheless. In 10th, we've got Taff in the GTI. This little car doesn't seem to really be able to cope with the cars up ahead, the BMWs, etc. But Taff really does like to put it through its paces. 11th is Sai in the Civic. We were hoping for good things from this Civic. It didn't do too well last time. Last season we ran the BTCC replica, and like I say, I really thought it was going to do well this time around, but been a bit of a struggle for Sai, really. But he's sitting 11th at the minute. 12th is Rossi. Again, another one not really got to grips with this with his car. Rossi is very quick. He's been on the podium quite a few times in previous races. He is a proper good driver, but really not blended, as it says, blended. He's not blended actually with this Renault, which is a surprise. But Rossi is he's a fighter. He'll keep going, and well, he'll put up a good fight. In 13th, we've got Colesberg in the BMW. No, I think that's a new BMW actually. That's a fantastic bit of artwork on that car in the Pepsi Max. So let's have a bit of a look at that. I don't think we've seen him in, well, not in that livery anyway before, so looking good is Carlsberg. And then, well, Brian Moncani down in 14th, so I have no idea why. Whether it is a ban, that he had the, he's the one who had the mix-up with the tyres last week, and he used a set of softs when he shouldn't have done. So whether it's a qualifying ban, which is what's put Brian all the way down at the back, but it doesn't really matter to Brian where he starts. He's going to put up a good fight, and he'll be fighting his way through the grid. Yeah, you just watch. He will not be sitting there in 15th for very long. So one to keep an eye on. So let's get out of here. Oh, I did it. Look at that. I did it without pressing the wrong buttons. Let's get this first race underway, shall we? You can see we've got the lights on now. Let's get them out. And we are away. And Grasshopper gets off to a flyer as normal. Oh, what's going on at the back? What is going on at the back? In fact, I'm going to go back and have a look at that. Let's... I'm going to sit with Brian Moncani and see what happened, because people went all over the place. Now then, oh, now then, it was a bit of a... might have been a false start that from Hawkeye. Well... bit of wheel spinning, a bit of all sorts of shenanigans going on, and poor old Hawkeye, he's still, I think he's Hawkeye, yeah, he's still down at the back, so I think it was a false start from Hawkeye, unfortunately, which has now left him down in 14th around turn 1. Now, as I say, this is the short course, so just remember to turn right, boys, instead of carrying on up the hill towards turn 3. Now then, they've all made it round turn 3 into turn 4 and then back onto the original track, as Grasshopper leads us down the hill towards turn 5 at Rint. It is Grasshopper, then Dan in second. He's made a place up on Thomas, so those two have swapped. Then we've got Fazer. Great start from Fazer, all the way from 7th up to 4th. This is what we wanted to see from Fazer. This is more like it. Come on, Fazer, let's get you up on that podium. Wayne G in 5th, chasing Fazer down. Then we've got Chris and Taff having a good old fight. Taff, another good start for Taff, as they come up towards turn 1, and the cameraman doesn't want to catch up, does he? As Chris tries to get around turn 1 without crossing the line and picking up a penalty. Then, as I say, instead of carrying on up the hill, it's just a short sprint to the first right-hander at turn 2. Very tight, sweeping right-hand, and then immediately you're thrown into turn 3. And then turn 4, it's almost like a stretched out S-bend, and then before you know it, you're looking at Rint and then Red Bull Mobile, and you're back onto the straight again. But Chris just in 6 at the minute. Taff in 7th. Then we've got Hodgie. Hodgie putting up a bit of a fight with Taff. It's side by side as they go around the final turn. And we've got people coming into the pits, it looks like. Who is coming into the pits? What's going on? It is Carlsberg. Carlsberg into the pit. Oh, he's got damage. Of course, the damage is on heavy, isn't it? So if you pick up damage, then you do have to come in and get it repaired. But you can see the top 3 really have pulled away as Grasshopper still leading. Thomas has managed to get P2 back again off of Dan down to 3rd and just falling off the back of these, so he's going to have to push a little bit harder to catch back up to Thomas. Oh, and Thomas has picked up half a second penalty as well. Now then, Red Bull known for dishing out penalties all over the place. Wayne G, he's moved up to 4th just ahead of Phaser, but he's also picked up a penalty, and it's going to be a story of penalties today, I'm sure. Oh, what kind of a battle have we got going on here? Hodgie, Chris, Taff. These 3 having a proper fight, and you can just see Chris trying to join into the back there. So Hodgie just leading this little group in 6th, but he is giving a toe to everybody else as Chris pulls to the inside. Is he going to try and get a double overtake at turn 1? Oh, and there was contact. I'm sure there was contact between Chris and let's just go back and have a quick look. We'll go back a little bit further so we can get the camera angle right. Now then, Chris in the slipstream behind Taff and Hodgie. Quick look behind us, Brian Moncani there as well. He's made up a few places. Now then, as we come towards turn 1, let's just have a look and see if there was a tap. Yeah, there was contact. There was contact. I'm not sure Chris could really do much about that. I think Taff sort of came across him, but we'll let the steward sort that one out. It's nothing to do with me, is it? And we just say it how we see it. So Chris now up to 7, Taff in 8th. It could have been a lot worse, actually. Could have ended up the other side of the track. Then we've got Unforgiven in 9th. He's trying to get involved in this battle. Let's jump on board with Unforgiven as we sniff around the rear end of Taff's VW. There in 10th is Brian Moncani, already trying to make his way through the grid. Remember, Brian Moncani started in 14th. Oh, as Unforgiven gets a good run on Taff then into the final turn. Oh, and Unforgiven's lost it. Oh, a gentle kiss with Barrier, but that's going to put him all the way down the back. What a shame for Unforgiven. Now then, did he just take too much curb? He'd got a good run on Taff as we come out of turn 5, which would normally be turn 9, wouldn't it? He got a fantastic run, didn't he? There was a little bit of contact there. Now, whether that was enough to put him off, I'm not sure, but he's ended up having a good old kiss with Barrier and all the way down at the back now then. Oh, unfortunately, he's not that far behind because Carlsberg has had to make the pit, hasn't he? He's got a 3-second penalty as well. That would be for pit lane infringement. So poor old Carlsberg, race over already and we've not even started. Back up to the top. Look at all the penalties. This is ridiculous. Grasshopper with half a second, Thomas with half a second, Dan, is he going to take the lead? Has he got the momentum? Yes, he has. He just sails on past Grasshopper and takes up the lead of this race. Now then, this race is going to be all about the penalties, and Grasshopper may have well picked up another one there, actually. He did cross the white line, but it may be you've got to go all the way off the curb. I don't know. I give up trying to work it out on this track. So Dan now leading, Grasshopper in second, trying to put the pressure on him. Thomas in third, Wayne G, he's on his own a little bit now in fourth. Then we've got Phaser in fifth. Come on, Phaser, hurry up. We've got Phaser in fifth. He's got Hodgie all over the back of him. Hodgie desperate to keep moving through the grid. Started, where did Hodgie start? Well, he started fifth and he's actually lost the place, hasn't he? I thought Hodgie started a bit further back than that, but no. So he has actually lost the place. It's Phaser that's making up the places, isn't it? Chris in 7th, Brian Moncani in 8th. He's the one making his way through the grid. Started all the way down in 14th, but has picked up that half a second. And like I said, this seems to be the story of this track. Into the last but one turn they go. Sai sitting in 9th in that Civic. If he can stay penalty free, maybe Sai can work his way through the grid. Look, even more penalties. Brian Moncani, Chris, everybody's picking up penalties. Let's have a look. Brian Moncani gets his nose in front. It is the two Crown athletes having a good old fight at the minute, but both picking up half a second penalty each. Now then, where's Sai? Sai is in just behind Chris, so if he can get a little bit closer. Oh, and Chris has picked up another one, so Sai will definitely move up into 8. I'm not so sure he's going to overtake Brian Moncani. I think Brian Moncani is just a little bit too far up the road for Sai to overtake him, but he should be able to get a little bit closer, which he has. So Sai now moves up into 8, and within striking distance really of Brian Moncani. Chris now down to 9th, Rossi in 10th. He's got Hawkeye all over the back of him, so Hawkeye in the slipstream of Rossi. Let's just stay with Hawkeye, shall we, and see if he's going to make the move, tucking himself right underneath that Renault. But it looks like the Renault might just have a little bit too much in a straight line for that little AMG, and Rossi manages to say, now then, why have we got a yellow flag? What's going on here? No, yellow flag's gone, so we're all up and running again. Rossi still in 9th, Hawkeye in 10th, Unforgiven in 11th. He's having a fight now with Brian Moncani. Oh, was it Brian Moncani that must have, he's getting a little bit squirrely there out of turn 2, so he's really fighting that ground athlete at the minute. And let's just have a look at, I think it was Brian Moncani that must have had the yellow flag issue, because he was fighting with Chris, wasn't he, not that long ago. But now Brian Moncani down in 12th. I actually thought he might do well. He's on the soft tyres, so that's something we'll have a look at. We'll have a look at the tyres. We are about 7.5 minutes into this race. Taft down in 13th. Now we're all calmed down a little bit, and poor old Carlsberg, not the start he wanted, on the soft tyres as well, all the way down in 14th. So back up to the top. And Grasshopper, we've had a change of lead again, and it is Grasshopper's turn now, and Dan is playing follow my leader. Let's have a look. Grasshopper on the softs, Dan also on the softs, as is Thomas, Wayne G, Hodgie, Phaser, Sai. Oh, Sai's on the soft tyres, but he has got damage at the rear, so somebody's run into the back of him. Chris is on the mediums. Hawkeye, he's on the softs, but he has got damage at the back as well. Rossi on the softs, Unforgiven, Brian Moncani, Taff and Carlsberg. So only 2 medium runners out there, so they've got the luxury of 2 sets of soft tyres to come, as Grasshopper and Dan still fighting out, and Dan managed to take the lead again. These two just swapping. It just seems every lap it's like, no, you have a go, no, you have a go, no, you have a go, no, go on, you have a go. And that's what they seem to be doing, as Dan is now the leader of this race. Let's just see if he can hold on to it, but it may just be a slipstream that's doing the work, or penalties. And there we go, Grasshopper, a fantastic exit out of the final turn. Now then, has he got the beans to overtake that little AMG? I would have thought the BMW would have, actually, especially with the aid of the slipstream, but Dan managed to hold on to it. Dan really proving to be a handful. And Grasshopper may have missed his match here as they go into turn 2, turn 2. This long, well, it's almost a hairpin, isn't it? Almost a hairpin, not quite. And then into turn 3, around turn 4, which would have been turn 8, wouldn't it? Through the penalty zone. This would have been turn 9, which is now turn 5. And then we're down to the final turn, turn 6, and Grasshopper having a good old look, isn't he? Oh, we're trying to slide it around that final turn. It is his bumper to bumper as they come up behind Carlsberg. Now then, Carlsberg is going to be lapped in a second as Grasshopper pulls to the inside. Now then, Carlsberg is going to be in the way at turn 1, and Grasshopper is coming in there pretty hot, and he's going to have to try and avoid Carlsberg. Carlsberg will have to move out of the way, as Dan and Grasshopper are fighting away. Now Carlsberg, he must realise they are coming up behind him, and I am sure Grasshopper is screaming out of his window to Carlsberg to move out of the way, because these two really are fighting it out. I'm just going to stay with them for a second to see whether they can actually get by Carlsberg. Grasshopper, I think, picking up a bit of a cheeky toe from Carlsberg as Carlsberg moves over to the left as they get to turn 5. It is Grasshopper leading this time around, and Dan having to slot in behind him. Let's just have a look to see what's happening elsewhere, shall we? Thomas sitting in 3rd. Now then, Wayne G has made some progress in catching him up. Remember, these guys do have nitrous as well if they want to use it. Let's just have a look and see what's happening. Well, Grasshopper has practically gone through. He's only got quarter of a tank left. Dan loads of nitrous left, so he's looking a favourite for this one for me. I think I'm going to put my 3 jelly babies on Dan for the win here, because purely based on the fact he's got a bit more nitrous left. So if he can stay within touching distance, and he is having a good look in the boot of that BMW, isn't he? And if he can stay there, then well, do you know what? I just want to stay with these two. What a fantastic battle they are having. It is good, it is clean, it is fair, it is respectful, and oh, as Dan picks up half a second, wow, somebody is going to have a big smile on his face, and that somebody is going to be Grasshopper. As they come up to turn 1, Dan gets on the inside. He will make the move, but Grasshopper's not that bothered because he will get the place back. So let's just see what's happening elsewhere, shall we? Thomas sitting in 3rd. He's got Wayne G, so it's the battle of the Ford Focus now, as Thomas holds on to P3 with Wayne G just sitting there in 4th. Let's jump on board with Wayne G, so we'll sit in the passenger seat so we can see what Wayne G is up to. Well, he's definitely not got the radio on, has he? As he concentrates on trying to catch up to Thomas again. Remember, they can use that nitrous, and they've got to be very careful where they use it. You do not want to be using it as you approach a turn, otherwise your car will not slow down, as a few of them found out on the opening few rounds. But let's just have a look. Is Wayne G using it? No, he's just using the slipstream of Thomas, so they're just trying to preserve a little bit of that nitrous for the closing few laps, and you can just see the battle raging ahead between Dan and Grasshopper. Them two are still playing that you go. Phaser down in 6, not under a great deal of pressure at the minute, but it's good to see Phaser up there in amongst, well, he's not in amongst it, but he is up there with the leading lot in 6th position at the minute. So this is where we like to see Phaser. Could really do with him having a battle with somebody. He's either got to slow down and let Si catch up, or he's got to push a bit harder and catch up to the back of Hodgie. Where's Hodgie? We missed him out, didn't we? Hodgie in 5th. Well, he really is on his own, isn't he? He's in no man's land. So Hodgie will be trying to catch up to the back of Wayne G. Let's have a look at the time, shall we? Wayne G, his fastest is a 52.4. Fastest so far on the track is Brian Mulcahy, a 51.9. Wow, that is quick. Wayne G, his last lap, his 50th lap was 53.2. Hodgie was a 54. So yeah, Hodgie a little bit slower than Wayne G, so he's got to push it always. Carlsberg on the grass, maybe again trying to get out of the way. I think Carlsberg just wants this race to be over. Si is in 7th. Now then, he's got a few cars following him around. So that Civic just leading this little group, trying to catch up to the back of Phaser, and Si sitting in 7th, Chris in 8th, with Brian Mulcahy just serving a half a second penalty. So his Hawkeye got the momentum to get by Brian Mulcahy. He's having a look up the inside, but no, I don't think he has. So Brian just settling for 9th at the minute. Hawkeye slotted in behind him in 10th. Then we've got Unforgiven in 11th. He'll be keen to get this race over with and forgotten about. Same with Rossi down in 12th, Taff in 13th, and then poor old Carlsberg in 14th, who really, well, I do think he wants this race to be over with so he can concentrate on race 2, or he's praying for rain. Back up to the sharp end, and it is Dan's turn to lead. And now he has opened up a slight gap to Grasshopper. Now it's because Grasshopper has used all his nitrous. No, he's got the tiniest little bit back left. Dan with over a quarter of a tank of it, so he's definitely saving his towards the end. Doesn't need to use it at the minute. He's in front of Grasshopper. Oh, he's picked up another half-second penalty. We did say, didn't we, at the beginning, that this is going to be all about the penalties. Now then, fastest lap now belongs to Grasshopper, a 51.978, and Dan not serving the penalty yet, so he's got another lap. So if he can just ease a little bit further away from Grasshopper, he may be able to hold on to P1. Wayne G on the podium in front of Thomas, so those two swapped over, but they are very close. So Thomas within striking distance of Wayne G as they come up towards turn 1 for the 19th time. Remember, it is only a short track, it's only 1.4 miles long, but Wayne G looking steady actually in P3 with Thomas just behind him. Wayne G nearly used all his nitrous. Thomas saves in it, he always does, doesn't he? Thomas doesn't like to use it all up very early. He saves a bit towards the end of the race, so the last couple of laps Thomas will start burning through that nitrous. And again, if he can just stay where he is within touching distance of Wayne G, then he could be looking at a podium, unless Wayne G can get away from him. He needs to break the toe. Hodgie in 5th, all on his lonesome, so it's going to be hard for him to concentrate. It's all practice laps for Hodgie. There's nobody to race with. Phaser in 6th. He has got somebody to race with now, and it's quite a lot of the rest of the group. He's got Side just behind him. We've got Brian Mulcahy has moved his way up into 8th. We've got Hawkeye in 9th. Then we've got Chris in 10th. Let's get right in the middle of this group, shall we? With Brian Mulcahy as he has a look up the inside at turn 1 of Side, but no, just backs out, thinks better of it. Doesn't want to risk picking up a penalty. Side went very deep into turn 1. That could be a penalty. Let's just see if he gets away with that one. I think he has now into turn 2. So yeah, Side very lucky. I thought he went very deep into that turn, but Side holding on to P7. Quick look behind, and Hawkeye not close enough to put Brian Mulcahy under any pressure yet, but Side really putting the pressure on Phaser and getting a good run out of turn 4 onto Phaser. Gets himself up there in front as Brian has a bit of a look, but has to back out of that one as well as they go through turn 6. Phaser trying to slot in and pick the slipstream up. Brian Mulcahy having to go the long way round and overtake both of them. Actually, he now finds himself on the inside. He's got Phaser slotted in behind him, and it looks like Brian Mulcahy has got the job done, or has he? No, Sai comes right across around the outside and maintains P6. Oh, Phaser having a bit of a look then. Who's that as well? Somebody else is in there. It is Hawkeye, but he's picked up half a second as well. There is more penalties being handed out here than there is in the Euros. Phaser in 8th now. Hawkeye with that penalty. There we go. Brake slammed on. Chris should slide on through, and he does. So Chris now moves up into 9th with Hawkeye down in 10th. Unforgiven in 11th. Well, in no man's land. Same with Rossi, Taff and Carlsberg, all just racing themselves really. Up at the top, Dandan's, despite having a penalty, has managed to pull away from Grasshopper, so he's broke that toe. Fantastic shot there. The flames licking out the back of that AMG, out the exhaust. So yeah, it looks like Dandan's broke the toe with Grasshopper. Grasshopper is completely out of nitrous. We are into the last 30 seconds, so Dandan just getting his finger on that nitrous button and burning through it, and why not? So at the minute is Dandan, Grasshopper in 2nd, Wayne G is in 3rd. We're going to try and stay with Dandan, Thomas in 4th as we come towards the end of the first race. Now then, let's have a look and see who's going to be finished first. Now then, Hodgie's pulled up, doesn't want any more. Oh, he's got another lap. Hodgie didn't want another lap, but he's got one. He's going to have to go and face one. Now let's have a look. Is it going to be Rossi that finishes first? It is. Rossi finishes his race first in 12th. Taff will cross the line in 13th with Carlsberg 14th, but it is Dandan across the line to take the win from Grasshopper in 2nd. Wayne G gets third, just ahead of Thomas. Very confusing when other people crossing the line. Brian Mulcahy leading a little group now around the final few turns. We can just see Si there. Well, he's just served a penalty, but it's not going to alter his track position. So Brian Mulcahy should, unless he picks up penalties going around these final few turns. Ooh, a couple of people went very wide there. So Brian Moncani is going to cross the line in 5th. A great start for him, actually, considering he started in 14th. So great race from Brian Moncani. So I finishes 6th, then Chris in 7th, Hawkeye 8th, Fazer 9th, Hodgie, well, he finished 10th, didn't he? Unforgiven 11th. Oh, and we can't, it's all gone. It's all disappeared on me. It finished before I could get through the grid, so apologies for that. Wow, that was race 1. It's always exciting at Red Bull, isn't it? Especially with those penalties being dished out. We're just going to pray for a bit of rain, haven't we? Anyway, I will be back very shortly with races 2 and 3, so please come back and we'll see how the rest of the races go. I shall catch you all.